Okay, this is question 9. And it says, consider the information in figures 1 and 2. And I'm going to continue with this step-by-step process. I didn't do it earlier on, but I'm kind of getting into it, so I'm going to keep on doing it. So, consider the information in figure 1 and 2. So that's going to be step 1. We find the graphs or the figures that we're looking at. About the Lahar Deposit, and if you did the earlier questions, you know that we read the first kind of 3 sentences. I'm going to enlarge this. And the Lahar Deposit is formed once the flow, Lahar is water saturated volcanic ash. Once that flow stops, it consists of clasts, which are rocks having diameters greater than 16 millimeters, and it's embedded in a matrix, or they are, and that's particles having diameters. So that's what the Lahar Deposit is, just in case you didn't look at the earlier questions. But if you did, then you wouldn't have had to reread that because you would have known it from having read it earlier on. All right, so back to the question. Figures 1 and 2. About the Lahar Deposit sample collected 270 kilometers. So that is going to be step 2, because we're going to have to find out where 270 kilometers, what significance that is. From the volcano's crater, class of which composition? So this is going to be 3, just because it's asking a question. It's saying which composition. So if it's a question, then it's going to be a step. Class of which composition accounted for more than 50% by mass of the class in the sample, and matrix particles of what size? Okay, there's another question. What size? So matrix particles of what size? So that's step 4. We need to answer that question. Accounted for more than 50% by mass of the matrix in the sample. Okay, I think if you weren't breaking this down into step by step, that question's got a lot of information, and it might kind of overwhelm you. But breaking it down to just 4 steps, all we've got to do is take it step by step. Answer step 1, answer step 2, answer step 3 and 4, and we'll have the answer. So let's. I'm going to shrink down the right hand side so we can see what we're looking at. So we're just going to do step 1. That's it. Consider the information in figures 1 and 2. What we're going to do, we're going to find figures 1 and 2. Over to the red side, the right hand side, figure 1, figure 2. Okay, we have answered step 1. Hoorah. Now we're going to go into step 2. About the Lahar Deposit sample collected at 270 kilometers. And when we read the few sentences, when we kind of did the kind of overview for the first question in the passage, we looked at the graphs and we noted that the x-axis had the distance from the volcano. So we just want, it says 270, and look here on the right hand side, here's 270. So we just find that. That's all we're doing. All we're doing is just finding, and it says figures 1 and 2, so we come over to figure 2 and we find 270 there. There we go. Step 2, done. So we're not putting anything all together, we're just doing it step by step. Class of which composition accounted for more than 50% of the mass of whatever. So we again look at the figures, and I hope it's not disorienting for you, for me pinching and zooming all over the place, but I'm just wanting to make sure that you can see everything. So generally, if it says class first, then that'll be in the first figure. They're not going to be that kind of sneaky that they're going to put class first and put it in the second figure. So we're pretty sure that class composition is going to be in the first one, and there it is. So we look at this graph. I'll increase it a little bit, and we see that, right, yep, percent by mass of class is the y-axis. It's up the left-hand side, and this is exactly, we're just kind of matching words in the question to the graph here, accounted for more than 50% mass of class in the sample. All right, this is mass of class in the sample, percent of mass in the class. Okay, so we've got that we're in the right place. We've got 270, and then we look up at this key here, and we see that there's 4 different types of classed, I guess. So then we look at, we're just looking at here. All we're concerned about is 270 kilometers, and we see that it's broken up into the 4 different little sections. And we're just looking for the one that's over 50%. So it's going to be the one that's the tallest. It's as simple as that. And it's this one, right? This one is a lot taller than any other. And if you want to prove it's over 50%, it starts at 0 and it goes up to, what, about 65%. So that's it. That's as hard as that gets. And it's the dotty one, and the dotty one is andesite. So we can come back to the questions on the left-hand side, the green section, and anything that doesn't have andesite as the answer for the class composition is wrong. So A and B are gone. We're down to a 50-50. So now we have to find the matrix information, and we know we're going to find that in figure 2. And I'll zoom that up. And we need the same thing, the matrix particles of what size? Accounted for more than 50%, all right? Percent by mass of matrix, percent matrix, distance from the volcano, and then the key shows us the sizes. Matrix particle size class. See how we're matching the words just to the graphs? Easy. And then we have silt, sand, and gravel. Again, all we have to do is find the biggest block. There's 3 of them, right? There's the dark one, there's a stripy one, and then there's a grey one down here, stripy. And obviously the stripe one is bigger. And again, if you want to really belabor the point, we'll make sure it's over 50%. And it starts about, what, 25, and it goes up to 90 odd. It's definitely over 50%, so it's a winner. And we find out what the stripy one is, and it is sand. So there we go. We're looking for the answer choice that has andesite and sand, and that is answer choice D. And what looked like a kind of convoluted question is really very simple once you break it down into its steps. And there we go, answer D.